Welcome to this Engineering Through Nigeria vlog. This footage was coincidentally filmed during Eid al-Adha last year, 2024. If you're new here, this channel is all about engineering, engineering diversity, and engineering education. So if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. In today's video, I'll be showing you some real life engineering in action across Nigeria, specifically Lagos, from open sewage systems, power cuts or power systems, bridges, roads, and even natural scaffolding. So let's start with something we often don't talk about: sewage. In many parts of Nigeria, you'll see open drainage systems like this one. At first glance, they might seem unusual compared to other parts in the world, for example in the UK where I'm normally based, but they actually serve an important function. These open drains help manage stormwater and prevent flooding, especially during Nigeria's rainy season, when heavy downpours can overwhelm a closed system. In the dry season, they continue to serve as waste channels. This versatility is one reason why open systems remain common. Now, how does this compare to closed sewer systems in cities like London or New York? Waste and stormwater are transported underground through an extensive network of pipes. This keeps sewage outside and reduces exposure to harmful bacteria. However, closed systems require a lot of maintenance, and blockages or overflows can be difficult to access. With climate change causing unpredictable weather patterns, including more intense rainfall, open sewage systems might actually be more adaptable in certain environments. So, for example, in Nigeria, we have dry season and wet season. So, having such stark differences in season, having an open sewage system might actually be more effective because they allow water to escape freely rather than causing underground backups. But on the flip side, open drain systems can collect waste and attract disease-carrying insects. So balancing sanitation and functionality is key. Moving on to roads. Driving here is interesting. You'll notice a mix of well-paved highways and some bumpy roads. So if you've ever been to Nigeria, especially Lagos, people normally complain about the roads because depending on the area and how well they're maintained, it can very much vary. But one of the best features I saw was the third Mainland bridge in Lagos. This bridge is the longest in Nigeria, stretching over 11.8 kilometers, and it plays a crucial role in connecting the mainland to Lagos Island. So Lagos, which is a hub in Nigeria, used to be the capital, has a mainland part and an island part that's separated from mainland, and people normally transfer between the two. So what goes into designing a bridge like this? Construction of this bridge started in 1976 and it was completed in 1990, so it took 14 years to build. It was constructed in two phases, with the first phase being handled by a German company and the second phase helped by a French company. And this is very normal for big engineering projects to have different international teams coming with their engineering expertise in their respective fields. The bridge is made primarily of reinforced concrete and steel to withstand both the heavy weight of traffic and the impact of water currents from Lagos Lagoon. So reinforced concrete is concrete reinforced with elements of steel inside, and that basically means you have a hybrid of both benefits of both materials. One interesting thing is that many of the materials used had to be imported as Nigeria didn't have large-scale local steel production at this time. This added to the cost and the timeline, another huge consideration when dealing with large engineering projects, what kind of materials you have to import. Maintaining a bridge like this is also a huge challenge. It requires regular inspections to prevent structural damage from humidity, salt water and exposure, and the sheer amount of vehicles passing over it daily. Now, something you'll notice on many roads and bridges in Nigeria are the black and white striped markings along the edges of the roads. These are called curb markings and they serve multiple purposes. The alternating colours improve visibility, especially at night, helping divers gauge um, road boundaries. They also act as a traffic calming measure, making it easier to spot intersections, pedestrian crossings, or changes in road width. In some places, they indicate no parking zones or areas where stopping is restricted. While these markings exist in many countries, they are particularly common in Nigeria and serve as a simple but effective way to enhance road safety. Now, let's talk about electricity. Nigeria has a unique power system where many people rely on private generators because the national grid isn't always reliable. But why? Why is it not reliable? Well, the national grid faces multiple challenges, including aging infrastructure, inconsistent fuel supply, and insufficient power generation to meet demand. Nigeria has abundant natural resources, hydropower, gas, and even solar potential, but a mix of poor maintenance, technical faults, and energy theft results in frequent power cuts, known locally as NEPA taking light. To compensate, I saw loads of backup generators everywhere. Almost every shop, hotel, and household has one. But while generators are common, they are noisy, expensive, and contribute to air pollution. Now, as someone who studied electrical and electronic engineering and did her dissertation on solar powered energy, especially in Nigeria, specifically Oyo State, it is so obvious to me a good solution would be using more solar powered energy. Nigeria gets plenty of sunshine year round, making it an ideal place for solar power generation. But adoption is still slow due to high upfront costs, lack of widespread infrastructure, and, in my opinion, lack of knowledge, lack of how to use it, where to get it, and logistics problem. So, potentially a big business opportunity. If large-scale solar farms or affordable solar home systems were invested in, it could provide a cleaner and more stable alternative to diesel generators. There's a huge opportunity here for engineers and energy companies to innovate. The next thing I want to speak about is the infrastructure, construction, and natural scaffolding in Nigeria. So, one thing about Nigeria is that it has a lot of diverse types of architecture or buildings depending on where you are. There's some places that are very leafy, there's some places that are very dry, there are a lot of built up places that are less built up places, and as a result, the infrastructure and type of buildings you find there massively changes, which I found interesting. As a Muslim, I paid some extra attention to the mosques because generally Muslims put a lot of effort and energy into making sure their mosques look beautiful as a form of expression, and it normally is associated with architectural excellence, which I found was true in Nigeria as well. Another thing I found quite interesting was the amount of building materials I found just out on the roads. Here you can see some building materials with some rams because it was Eid around this time, also known as Ileya in Yoruba. So here are loads of rams, but you can see there's a lot of construction happening, which it makes sense because Nigeria is one of the biggest growing populations, so there's going to be a lot of building and development happening. But it was interesting to see how much open construction work there was with little or no protection. Finally, one thing that caught my eye was the way buildings are constructed. Instead of the steel scaffolding you see in places in the UK, here they also use wooden poles, natural scaffolding. It's lightweight, flexible, and surprisingly strong. This method has been used for centuries in many parts of the world, and it's a great example of using locally available materials effectively. I also thought it had a better aesthetic than steel, as it kind of blended into the environment and looks a lot more natural. Natural scaffolding is not only cost effective, but is also environmentally friendly, as wood is biodegradable and doesn't require the same industrial processing as steel. It also reduces the amount of steel needed to be imported into the country, which makes the country a bit more dependent economically. It also allows builders to adapt to different building styles, especially in construction projects. However, as buildings get more taller and require more precise structural stability, still scaffolding may be preferred. But seeing this method in action reminds us about the sense of engineering, which is about adapting to the environment and sometimes having to use the best resources available. And that brings us to the end of this engineering vlog in Nigeria. I really enjoyed making this, filming this, and hopefully you learned something new in this vlog. What I love about seeing engineering in different countries is that it reminds us that there's no single way to solve a problem. Solutions depend on climate, resources, and cultural practices. What was the most interesting part of this vlog for you? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more engineering content like this, please let me know in the comment section. What country should I go to next? Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this to anyone who you think might find this interesting. See you in the next video.